Call me crazy, but I have a strong feeling that you want to learn about this color and maybe have me put together a whole color palette around it just for you. Guess what? Welcome to Color Quickie, and today's video is all about Playa Arenosa, which is a beautiful Sherwin-Williams color. And yes, it was requested by one of our beautiful subscribers, so thank you for doing that. We're going to talk about this paint color, go into some technical details on it, and at the end, I'm going to reveal an entire color palette that goes with it beautifully. So that way, you're completely equipped for your next paint project whenever you decide to get around to doing it. And for this video, I'm not going to ask you to like and subscribe to see if negative reinforcement works. Is that what that's called? I don't know. Let's just talk about this color. I find that beige can sometimes get poo-pooed on. Can I say that? And that's because beige usually equals banal, boring, lazy. But what I think is great about it as a color category in and of itself, which Playa Arenosa kind of is, it gives you a warm and cozy alternative to gray. And I think the only thing worse than beige happens to be gray. Am I right, graders? So in terms of what kind of beige Playa Arenosa is, it has this brown undertone, for lack of a better word. So a little tan leaning, technically part of the orange color family, which is a little bit of a stretch, but not really, because technically dark oranges that are shaded with black, they're kind of brown. And that's what this color is, but on the lighter side of things. Not super light, but light enough that makes it very easy to use in a lot of paint projects. One thing that I like to talk about on this channel a lot is the LRV. The light reflectance value tells us exactly how light this color will appear based on how much light it reflects. It's a 0 to 100 percentage. The higher that number is, the lighter the color will appear. And Playa Arenosa has a 60 LRV. And that's a great score. If we're judging on how versatile it is based on how light it is, scoring around a 60, 62, that's an amazing spot. Those colors tend to have enough to them where you'll notice them, but they're not going to punch you in the face with how dark and dramatic they are. It is really comfortable as a paint color, so that's already a big win. I would say that Playa Arenosa is a color that you could recommend as a main color, the focal point of an entire color palette that you can really paint most of your house with. You can paint all the rooms with it, but maybe at that point, it would be a bit boring. So that's why I've got some colors for you to go with it, so you can switch things up from room to room and really make your whole home your haven. The first one being Panda White, because who doesn't love a panda? Especially red pandas, so cute. It's like a raccoon's adorable red cousin. So this choice was a pretty simple one for me. I wanted to go with something within that warm spectrum, color-wise, still be neutral, but also a bit lighter. In case you have any parts of your home that maybe don't get ideal lighting, or you just want them to feel a little more open and airy and buoyant and free, then go with a lighter color like Panda White, because with a 77 LRV, it's reflecting technically 17 points more, or 17% more of the light that hits it, and that means it's going to feel brighter. It's going to feel more open. And also the type of warmth in Panda White is just a little bit different as well. So it won't be completely monochromatic. There is a tiny bit more of a yellowy creaminess, kind of a slightly sunnier beige, let's say. So not quite to the brown orange leaning aspect found in Playa Arenosa. So you have some variance between the two, even though they're warmer and neutral. And one thing that I find whenever you have anything with a yellow undertone, the more gray or black you add to it, the more tendency there is for a green undertone to be present, which I think is fine. In fact, I leaned into it intentionally with Prairie Grass, our next color pairing. So this color feels a little neutral as well, but not in the same way as the other two. Yes, there is some warmth to it, but this is an earthy green leaning color. It is part of the green family according to Sherwin-Williams, but it's a tan green, a khaki green, maybe a muddy army green, I guess you could say. It also has a 38 LRV, so this one is very much the darkest color so far, sort of on the dark end of midtones, not quite a dark color per se. So it's only reflecting 38% of the light hitting it, but I do like this choice here because it isn't polarizing enough to be a full-on accent color that just sticks out like a sore thumb. It is subtle enough where it can kind of be relaxed and sort of chill in the background, but at the same time, it's not going to feel too samey. It is a little more organic and robust compared to the other colors, both in terms of how dark it is and that kind of cooler sort of green aspect that's seeping in. But if you know me, loyal subscribers, you know I love green. So a green undertone sometimes isn't enough. My accent color is a very, very greeny color, and I love it. But it's not what you might think it is. It's not a sage green or a forest green or even an emerald green. It's Jardin. So we started with a Spanish sounding color.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
And now we're doing a bit of a French vibe.
Bleu de la bleu de bleu blah bleu.
Wow. This color is my pistachio gelato dream. It's very fun and vibrant and inviting. It also feels pretty fresh to me. It's not a dated color that we've seen a lot in terms of interior wall choices. But what I like about it is it still fits within the mold. It pairs with prairie grass because they do share that green characteristic. And that really just stands on its own against the other colors, those warmer neutrals we talked about, those beigey colors. But everything connects in a very organic, natural fashion that I really enjoy. You also have a 59 LRV with Jardin. And that's nice because it won't feel too dark. So sometimes with accent colors, we have a tendency, myself included, to go really dark and moody to give you that contrast. But here, we're just giving you contrast in terms of color, contrast of hue, of vibrancy. It's gonna draw the eye, but in a really pleasant way. And as an accent color, you can use it in rooms, you can use it in small pockets here and there, in conjunction with the other colors. But whatever you do, test the colors before you commit to them. Don't just take my advice, okay? And before you go, we gotta talk about trim colors. So if you're thinking of painting your walls, you better be thinking about painting your woodwork. So that would be your baseboards, your doors, the stuff around your doors called frames, casings, things like that. For a lot of people, I usually recommend going with a white or an off-white. And in this case, for this palette specifically, whitetail would be my choice. It is pretty bright. It has a warm yellow undertone, but it feels creamy. It's not like a highlighter yellow that can look a bit strange mixed with these other colors. It fits in really nicely, and it just gives you an alternative to a bright, stark white that can sometimes lack personality. So this one was sort of handpicked for these colors specifically. In terms of a dark color, so if you wanted maybe for one room or your entire house to go something a little more dramatic and eye-catching, tree branch would be my choice. A rich, dark brown, a little bit grayed out, a little bit toned down ever so slightly, but not enough to make it feel like anything other than the branch it was named after, I guess. I really like this color's interaction with all the colors. Maybe not Jardin. I think the green and brown thing is just a bit too cartoony. So if you are using Jardin in a room, maybe stick with the whitetail, or you can just double up and go green on the baseboards as well to just keep it nice and seamless. But whenever you're doing the same color on your walls and your trim, always make sure to use wall paint on your walls and trim paint on your trim. Here's the palette all together. Please let me know what you think. What do you think of that Jardin color? And right before you click on this video, don't forget to click that like button and the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with all of our content. And of course, that join button's there if you want to become a channel member and support us even more. That'd be awesome.